Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I want to talk about a concept today that I've been thinking about that is really important, which is this idea that a lot of the struggles, the hard times that you're going to go through in life, a lot of times when you hit these valleys, that they are necessary and they indicate growth, and it's a good thing, right? I think a lot of people, what they want to do is they want to train for something. They want to train for life. They want to build themselves up, but they never want to be tested. So they want to basically be able to avoid some of the obstacles in life. There's a real good book that I highly recommend called The Obstacles Away. You can check out this book, which is basically all about it's a Stoic philosophy and this idea that it's those hard things that make us stronger that we have to face. But I found that in life that there's a lot of people that they'll do everything that they can to avoid the actual combat, right? So they'll train as warriors, they'll train for combat, but they'll avoid actual combat, hoping that if they train hard enough that they can sort of just bypass the valley and the pain and the actual combat. And I was thinking about this, as I was running, it's sort of like if you're training for, let's say, a marathon, and you did all the training, you're running, several days a week, because I'm training, right? I'm doing, and you basically got to the marathon and then you gave up or you didn't run it, you got to you canceled it and you never trained it. So you're never going to quite get that level of growth that you want to have in your life if you're not willing to face the pain, if you're not willing to push it to the limit, if you're not willing to actually go into combat. And so we do this in a lot of areas in our life, right? We end up, or we can be very susceptible to this, where take personal improvement, take personal development and personal growth, right? Self-help. You could read a book, a self-help book, a personal development book, and you could do all the exercises in the book and plan out your goals and plan out your life and stuff. But what happens when the shit hits the fan? Because the shit is going to hit the fan. All that exercise, all that practicing, all that going through the mantras and doing, law of attraction type of things and giving yourself positive affirmations and thinking about your goals and writing them down and stuff. All that stuff is great, but that's like training, right? And the thing is, you got to do that. The training is good and it can be beneficial to you, but the real growth doesn't happen in the training. The real growth is going to happen when the shit hits the fan. It's going to be when your boss, pulls you into the office and says, "You're fucking fired, dude." And then what do, right? Then comes a test. Then comes the point in your life where you have this choice. You got this moment, and this is the moment that tests you. Now what happens? Now are you going to take everything you've been working on, everything you've been learning, and apply it and deal with that setback in life and have the mental fortitude, have the strength, fall back on those things that you've learned? Or are you going to fly off the handle? Are you going to fly off the rails and basically throw it all down the trash can and just have a mental meltdown and your life is horrible and you see what I'm saying? So the thing is, those valleys, those times in life, they're going to happen. You're going to be tested, right? And you're going to be constantly tested. And it's going to be up to you to decide that those are the periods of time where you're going to grow, where you're going to take all the training you've been doing, you're going to take all the work that you've put in, and you're going to put it into action. And if you never do that, if you're never willing to go through the pain, if you're not willing to enter combat, to get on the front line and pay that price, you're never truly going to grow. You're only going to grow at a very superficial level. You can't just do the exercises. You can't just do the training, right? You can't be a warrior going into combat and never go into combat, right? You can do all the drills, you can do all the practice fighting and all of this stuff and conditioning, but until you're actually tested on the battlefield, you won't be a warrior. You won't have that level of growth. It doesn't matter how much you rehearse it in your mind and how much that you train, right? And that's the thing. And so what you got to do, again, in life, you don't want to purposely put yourself in bad situations, not all the time. Sometimes maybe it's a good idea, but in general though, you got to stop avoiding the shit that is painful and is hard, right? You can't work yourself out of avoiding these valleys, right? They're gonna come. They're gonna come to you in life, and they're gonna smack you. And I think I said it on Twitter, is that you're only as strong as your weakest moment, But in those moments, you can become stronger. And that's the key here. Is it's like people are going to blindside you, right? Stuff is going to happen. Life is going to happen to you, and you're going to get kicked right in the fucking nuts. And when you get kicked in the nuts, that's the moment. That's the test. That's where you figure out where you actually are. Because most of life, you're going through life, and when it's easy, when you don't have those challenges, when you don't have those dark moments, it's easy to fly level. You have a mirage, you have a fake view of where you are. Like you think you're at this level, but only when you feel the pain, only when you start to get your feet under the fire, then all that shit melts away, and what's left is who you truly are. And a lot of times that's a lot weaker than what you think. And so you got to go through that. You got to have that flame under your feet that's melting away that stuff so you can see where you are. And that's when you get that reality. That's when you get that realistic viewpoint. Like you're reading all these books, you're listening to these videos that I'm making, right? And you're like, yes, yes. And you think you're applying it to your life, but has the hard time come? Because when the hard time comes, then we're going to see if you actually are strong. Then we're going to see if you're actually mentally tough. We're going to see how stoic you are. We're going to see, how much you can endure. We're going to see how you deal with situations and the kind of attitude that you have. And if you fall apart in those situations, that's fine, because that just tells you where you are, and you can grow. And each time you go through those situations, you should be looking at it as an opportunity, not as something that's bad, right? So many times we go through these dips, these valleys. We all go through them, and we have a choice. We can look at it as bad. We could say, oh, well, this is screwing up my perfect life. I was flying great. I was doing good, and then this thing came along and messed me up. No. This thing came along and revealed where you really were. And that's okay. I did this video about looking in the mirror and facing reality. And that's fine. You want those rare moments of life where you get to see reality clearly. And when you get to see that reality clearly and you hit that point in life, now's your chance, right? You can grow stronger if you choose. You can overcome. You can say, look, here's my moment. If I am able to take on this pain, if I'm able to go through this valley, and I'm able to take this stuff that I practiced, all this training, right? These books I read, these videos I watched, this mindset that I wanted to have, and I'm able to apply it here when it's hard, right? When I don't have sleep, when I'm in physical pain, when I'm in mental pain, when people are treating me wrong and abusing me, when things are going bad in my life. If I'm able to take all that training and apply it, then I still go to the gym. I still go for my run. I still treat people the way I want to. I still have the positive attitude that I want to have. When you're able to take that, whatever that training is, I'm not afraid, right? And you actually apply it at that time, then you grow. Then you actually have strength. Then you gain strength. Then then your level increases. But when you're just flying level in your normal life and you apply that stuff, it's just training. But it's training for what? For the moments when it really counts. And I can't stress it enough, is if you avoid the moments when it really counts, you're never ever going to grow. So instead of avoiding all that stuff, instead of dreading it, when you see the shit hit the fan, get up and pump your fucking fist and be like, yes, this is the moment I've been waiting for. This is the battle. This is my chance to not only see where I am, but to raise that level. Because all the other points in life, it's just training. It's only when the shit hits the fan that the true growth happens, that the true vision of who you are right now and what you need to work on, it becomes revealed. And that's a fucking exciting moment. That's great. That's awesome. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Not that you want to go through shit all the time in your life, but when you get those moments, you should be happy about them, and you should make the most of them instead of doing what most people do, which is the opposite. They avoid those things, and when they do encounter them, they try to get through them as fast as possible, and they don't, and they fall apart. They fall to their lowest level, and they don't apply what they learned. They don't apply the training. They throw out all this stuff that they pretended to base their life on instead of applying it. So don't be that kind of person. I hope you found this useful. If you did, I have a request for you. Click that subscribe button below if you haven't already. I know that so many of you have. You're tired of me saying subscribe, but for those of you that have never watched this channel, I got to say it. So click that subscribe button. I'll talk to you later. Take care.